An aircraft that may not have California, but the prototype of the Boeing Model 299 had made its maiden flight a decade earlier in July 1935, entering US Army Air Corps service in 1938, at a time when the design was far from perfected. Here, the B-17G model, in many ways the definitive flying fortress, a very different beast.
Look.
The US hadn't entered World War II, of course, as of 1940. It only did so after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor in December of 1941. It was with the Royal Air Force that the initial wartime experience of the B-17 came. It showed that the aircraft needed a bigger bomb load, more defensive armament, and better bomb aiming equipment, amongst other things. And the US Army Air Force, as it became, had all of those on the B-17s that deployed to the UK with the 8th Air Force from 1942. This late model G model, armed with 13 machine guns, able to carry a maximum normal bomb load of 8,000 pounds, and that these aircraft would do on daylight raids to German industrial targets. Survivability improved when the likes of the P-47 Thunderbolt and P-51 Mustang long-range escort fighters became available to escort the bombers all the way to their targets, but losses was still grievous, not least to flak. This despite the fact that the B-17 was a legendarily tough airframe. Bomb doors coming open on this pass. Given all that history, no wonder Sally B is so cherished. It acts as a flying memorial to the around 79,000 Allied airmen killed in the European theatre, 27,000 of whom belong to the 8th Air Force alone. And it recalls in particular the huge numbers of 8th Air Force heavy bombers, not just the B-17s, but also the B-24 Liberators that flew from East Anglia between 1942 and 45. The aircraft's operator, Ellie Salingbo, calls this aeroplane a living piece of our national heritage, one that must be preserved for the enjoyment and education of today's and future generations.
There's no such thing as a Memphis Belle. Yes, there is.
Operating a 4-engine heavy such as this in civilian hands is no cheap business. And several times the aircraft has been laid low by unfortunate technical problems, but every time Ellie Salingbo and her team have bounced back, they're determined always to do everything in their power to keep Sally B flying for as long as possible. And that it's kept going for so long is down in very large part to the determination of all those involved, helped by the members of the Sally B Supporters Club, with around 6,000 members around the world, all dedicated to the aircraft's upkeep in airworthy condition. All the funds raised by the Supporters Club, which you can join here today on the Sally B stand just to the right of the control tower, rather to the left I should say, go towards this aircraft's continued preservation in Britain, and thus to remembering the brave and often young men who went to war with the 8th Air Force. Ellie Salingbo says the aircraft's mission is to pay tribute to those who gave their lives for the freedom of Europe, a sacrifice that must never be forgotten. do go to the Sally B stand, as I say, just behind and to the left of the control tower here. We'll be delighted to sell you a souvenir or indeed a Sally B Supporters Club membership. The aircraft's appearance, as always, dedicated to the members of the Supporters Club, and particularly on the last pass with smoke on 2 engines using smoke generators. With this aircraft, of course, we remember the mighty 8th, who, like the men of RAF Fighter Command during the Battle of Britain, gave so much for Allied victory in the Second World War.
What are you doing? Stop it! You're stretching in my face. I found it freely.
There's the smoke. This pass in tribute to the members of the Sally B Supporters Club. Peter Copers and Darryl Taplin, respectively captain and co-pilot on Sally B today. You can find out more about the aircraft's history and its operation by visiting www.sallyb.org.uk. But now we turn to the finale of today's display here at
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,
På det her, fordi den dag, der var der 40 det hele. Det er også med højfælde.